and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're already part of the Sprinkle Squad. And if you're not part of the Sprinkle Squad and you want to be, you can just subscribe right below and be part of the Sprinkle Squad. We would love to have you. And today, I know I mentioned in my last video that I've not been doing a lot of content and stuff like that, and I feel like this is proof of that because this is actually the shell I created back in November, and it was to celebrate my first year of being an affiliate over on Twitch. And I actually went and I toured builds and all of that people submitted, and it was a whole lot of fun. But it was so funny, I actually didn't finish it myself. I started it on stream and I did the whole exterior and everything, and I was really into this and really excited, but I don't know what happened when I got to the interior of this build. I don't know, it was just really difficult for me. I don't know if I was just having a hard time finding inspiration for it, that kind of thing. So it actually took me a lot longer than I anticipated. And because a lot of this was actually filmed back in November, I don't really remember. I know what it looks like, but I don't remember the process I took to get there, if that makes sense. But one of my favorite parts of this build is actually kind of what I'm working on, right here, is this fireplace thing that I'm creating. I don't know why, but it came to me while I was streaming, and I was like, this would be so cool to have this giant custom fireplace. And basically what I ended up doing is, you'll see me messing around a lot with it, but really all it is I just took some of these rocks, I believe those are from Island Living, put those in there kind of like the bottom of the fireplace, and then I took the dog training fire ring things from the, oh my gosh, I was about to call it my first pet stuff. That's not true. Cats and dogs from the expansion pack. And what you can actually do is take those, size them down, place them in there, and have your sim light them, and they'll just always be on then. So it's kind of like having a fireplace that you created yourself. And I probably ended up cutting a lot of that out because I really did work on it for a while. I had some issues with lighting and things like that, and really trying to get it to look how I wanted it to. And also, if you are not familiar with shell challenges, basically what that means is I created a shape. So I created this build, and basically you just can't alter the walls that I created, if that makes sense. So you can add half walls, you can make an interior floor plan, all that kind of stuff. You just can't alter what I created. And it was funny, I was like, I feel like I need to have a little bit of a round wall. So I did, and then I had a little bit of diagonal walls here and there. And it was funny when I was creating it, I was like, oh, this will be fine, this won't be bad at all. And then when I started building it, I was like, why did I do that? And of course it did cause me some issues, and actually I think it's coming back to me. I think I had some issues with that rounded portion right there. What I tried to do was create kind of this floral thing going on on the ledge there. You can see I already kind of put the grass tile on there, and for some reason it wouldn't let me put the fence on that round wall piece. You can see I messed with it a whole lot trying to get it to work, and I think I finally got it to work, and I can't even remember how I did it. It took me so much time on stream just to figure that out, and I actually ended up going with the exterior. I have the blue walls, but a lot of what's on the exterior, the furnishings, are going to be these really light beige and white colors. But on the interior of the build, I actually went with a lot more warmer tones, with some blues and some burgundies, and it ended up looking really pretty. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. But I opted to take this shell and create a really luxurious beach house. So this is actually a 1-bed, 1-bath, and it comes out to 113, almost 114,000 simoleons. So apologies if you want to download it and play with it. It is rather expensive, but you can easily make this a rental, or just a vacation spot, that kind of thing. So your sim can just go and visit, and that's not necessarily where they have to live. Or you can use money cheats. Obviously that is totally up to you. And this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery under my ID spicensprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And I've also recently started using the hashtag spicensprinkles. I'm hoping maybe that'll help you find builds. I know the gallery's been really weird, so hopefully you don't have any issues with it. And I actually, so I forgot to play test the bathroom. I just wanted to go ahead and mention that. Like, and you'll see later on when I actually get to the bathroom, I end up like intersecting the sink with this other table, and it may not work. So apologies, I totally forgot to test that until literally right now. I'm remembering, oh yeah, like I didn't do that. But part of the shell, you can add like patios, decks, that kind of thing. So you can see I'm trying to add that in here, and I really wanted it to be open, like so you can really see down into the water and stuff. We actually end up using so these kind of like see-through like pieces from Island Living. I think you actually have to go into, I always forget if it's debug or live edit to actually find that item, but it is super nice, and I thought it'd be really cool to have there so you could like see down into the ocean. That would be like really cool. And you can see that I tried to place like, I tried really hard to place kind of like a pool kind of thing, like inside of the deck area, kind of like it's part of the ocean. But I had so many issues with it because you can't actually, like with the stilt foundation and stuff, you can't, and I think actually just being on the beach here, you can't actually place a pool there. So I was trying to like get around that by just kind of cutting out a piece of that. And I tried really hard. I tried using like the pool ladder and everything, but it didn't work out. So I do end up getting rid of it, and I do end up replacing it with a hot tub with this really cool feature. I really went all out on the exterior. I'm not gonna lie, like it took me so much time, but I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out. I did end up using the tool mod a little bit later on when I was actually creating this like waterfall feature into the hot tub, which again you'll see when I'm talking about it a little bit later. It kind of sounds a little bit crazy, but I had so much fun doing the landscaping, just kind of layering all those pieces. I always find that like super relaxing to actually just like, you know, put all this stuff here. And it was actually kind of funny. I decided to use this lot like off the pier in Sulani, and this is actually called Pier Perfection is the name of this lot. And I always have that information down in the description if you ever want to know which lot I'm actually using. I try to include that and like what world it's in case you're curious and want to place it on the same lot, because like obviously if you place this on a different lot, it might look a little bit different. But anyways, that was like a totally random like aside there, but I thought I would mention that. And I also just had like a really loud truck go by my house, so hopefully you didn't hear that, or it wasn't too like, you know, disturbing with with me trying to talk and you could still hear me. But I ended up adding like a bunch of lanterns out here. I just really wanted this to be a really fun getaway, you know what I mean? I tried to add like a bunch of flowers and foliage around everywhere just to really give it that magical kind of beach feel. And I wanted to mention, a lot of times when I build without the grid. So if you press G on the keyboard, like on PC, it gets rid of the grid because typically I just don't use it, or like I don't need it. Like it'll still clip to the grid, it just doesn't show you the grid, if that makes sense, because I just feel like it's kind of like in the way. However, you can see I'm kind of turning it on and off here when I'm actually placing down those flowers like on the roof and everything. And the reason I do that is it actually, when the grid is on, it makes it easier for those flowers and stuff to kind of clip to it and go where I want them to go, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to let you know in case you've ever had issues where it just doesn't want to actually like place properly, that's how you do that. And you can see here I'm starting to put in that waterfall. I'm literally like taking the little fountains and literally one by one placing them inside of the rocks to create this like really cool waterfall effect. And I do keep it, I just end up having to put in a hot tub instead, and I think it looks really cool, and I tried to put lights in there so it looks really nice. And I really messed a lot with like trying to use tools just to duplicate it, because there are like, if you look inside of those rocks, like if you go into film mode, if you download it, there are so many little fountains in there, and it's just kind of funny. But I think it turned out really nicely. I've not really done that before. I've kind of done a small little waterfall feature like in a pool, but like I thought this was really fun because it kind of looked like it was part of like almost like landscaping, and it just kind of looked really fancy. And out here we do end up having a fire pit. We have a large table for dining. We have like a full like grill kitchen area, like we have lounging area, we have the jet skis. Like really there's so much to do out here. And I think part of the reason it took me a while to actually finish this too is I was having issues, like once I was done with the outside and doing the inside, I kept having an issue where items were getting deleted. So it just kind of, it got really frustrating when I was building it. So hopefully when you download it, you don't have any issues, but it just kind of like items just kept wanting to, I don't know, delete themselves, which was a little bit frustrating. So I don't know, I guess maybe that's why it took me so long to also finish this. And I do include like a bar area here as well. I just really wanted this to be this luxurious, fun place for your Sims to actually come and hang out. And I mean, I think this would be a really fun like house to have too, like if this is actually where your Sims lived. And at this point, I still haven't swapped out the pool kind of area for a hot tub. And I also include like a Zen yoga area as well out here. So I figured, you know, your Sim can come out and like do yoga with the sunrise or the sunset, you know, and just like hang out and look at this beautiful lot. It is so pretty. I will say, like, I've actually never played with mermaids, but Sulani is beautiful. Like, it really is a gorgeous world. And I feel like people have mixed feelings about the Island Living pack in terms of like gameplay and stuff, but it is really beautiful. And I do like the items that came with it. But here on the deck, I really wanted to pull in a lot of like flowers and plants here and just really make it like very nice. And I tried to put a lot of windows on the build as well, so you can really like take advantage of the beautiful scenery you have out here. You know what I mean? Like that's part of, I feel like, the appeal of being in Sulani and being out here on one of these beach lots. And again, just trying to put a bunch of lanterns and just like, I don't know, like really fun, like almost like romantic kind of lighting out here. And I'm actually really happy with the way this build turned out, despite the fact, like I said, like I had some issues and like trying to decide exactly what I wanted to do with it. I think it turned out really well in the end. And I actually ended up using, I really like the, oh my gosh, the beach chairs. Is that the word I'm looking for? Like the lounger beach chairs that came with the Wedding Stories pack. I ended up using them down here and then actually up on a porch as well. And I thought that like they looked so nice, and they just look very simple. You know what I mean? And they're like wooden, so they're not like plastic. It has a really nice look to it. And I mean, of course, like I feel like the newer items we get, the better the item quality is a lot of times in terms of the way it looks in the graphics. And I will say that For Rent wasn't even out yet when I was originally building this, but I do actually end up using, I think, some of the For Rent items probably inside of the build when we get there, because I did a lot of it like just recently. So just FYI, like this is kind of the timeline we were in. Like I said, I started it like in mid-November and I just now finished it. So, you know, it just took a while. So apologies again for me not getting that out sooner. It's been a crazy couple of months and all of that kind of stuff. So, but I had a really good time, and I had this really cute kind of like bar area set up over here with, you know, the fireplace, which I feel like, you know, realistically you may not want like flammable stuff near a fireplace, but you know what, it's a Sims, it's fine. It doesn't like cause any issues here. And then over here, I actually ended up putting a seating area. Like this is kind of where it started happening with having the yoga mats over here, but then I moved them, and so this started a lot of stuff and things moving around. And you can see Marcus Flex there in the home. So it turns out Marcus Flex had moved to this lot along with, he now has a wife and I think it was like a toddler, and his wife's pregnant. Like, I mean, this is like, you can tell this is a save file I've been using for a while for my build. I basically create a save file that I just do all of my building in, and it just thought it was funny that they, you know, move around, and so like you never know actually which townies are going to be where. And I just noticed that it was a little bit laggy. I'm hoping that that's just like my preview, and hopefully it's not coming up on your end. So apologies if it is. Hopefully not. I feel like sometimes when it's like rendering while I'm trying to do these voiceovers, it like it has a hard time. So hopefully that's just it. And I'm just here kind of layering in a bunch of plants here, just really trying to make this lush and inviting. I end up putting, like, you can see like fountains in there as well. So it's just like there's a lot going on here. And actually, I can't remember, I don't think what I actually upload to the gallery has like over that little walkway, I don't think those plants are there. I can't remember if I like opted to delete them or if the game deleted them, and I just couldn't remember because it's been too long. So anyways, what's uploaded to the gallery doesn't have those on it. So hopefully I opted to get rid of them versus like the game just deleting it. I really like hate that it does that sometimes though. And like I said, I had issues for some reason for this lot, like stuff getting deleted. So it very well could have been that the game deleted it and I just didn't notice it because there's just so much going on out here. But of course you can add that back. And as usual, if you want to download this and kind of like, you know, do whatever you want with it, change it around, you know, to your taste or what your Sims need, feel free to do so. And you can see here on the front porch, I'm starting to incorporate a little more of those warmer tones. You can see some of those like orange, and it's almost like a purpley kind of color there in that rug. And I end up taking that inside of the house, and I'm not going to lie, I don't know what it was about this kitchen in particular. I just have distinct memories of doing this kitchen over and over and over and over again, and I don't know why. I think just trying to balance the colors took me a long time because, you know, like I said, the outside of the build, there's a lot of just like whites and like beiges, and I think trying to make it a little more like warmer inside. And so I think I started with the lighter cabinetry and then went with like the darker, and I think this is actually what I ended up settling on. It just took me a while to get there. I mean, I think I went through like 5 different kitchens, like, and I think I literally was just like, that's it. Like, I need a break from this build. And I don't know why. I just feel like sometimes, you know, you start building and it just like, I don't know, it becomes difficult. Like, let me know, like, if you do build in The Sims, like, do you ever have to just like take a break from your builds and come back, like, because you need a little inspiration, or just like you're kind of like in a little bit of a rut when it comes to building? I don't know. That happens to me sometimes, and I do have a lot of builds that I actually want to get to. Hopefully I'm getting more back into the swing of making content. I really hope so. I know I've kind of taken a little bit of a break, but I am, like I mentioned in my last video, this is actually still a really crazy time for me. I will be moving, and you know, just it's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. So hopefully I would probably have to do some pre-recording, since like while I'm moving, like my whole like computer setup's going to be taken apart, like, and have to be put back together in the new house. So it's really exciting. It's all good stuff. I've opted to like move closer to family. So, you know, we're really excited. It's just moving's a lot. Moving's a lot of work. And I also wanted to mention here too that I did do the ceilings. However, since it is The Sims and I did use round walls, there are portions of the ceiling that are not painted in specifically the living room because of the round walls. Like, I tried my best, and let me know if you know how to fix that, but I could not get it to work. So, you know, if you download it or if you look at the screenshots, just know that I know that some of it's not painted, and it's because it just wouldn't let me. Like, I remember being so excited about round walls and like the versatility that would add to the game, but I just wish they worked better. Like, but I feel like I always use them, get frustrated, forget that I was frustrated, and then use them again and then get frustrated. Like, I feel like it's a cycle when it comes to these round walls. It really is a cycle. So, and also, like I mentioned, if you need to, like, because for my build, I had like the Sim light those fires there in the fireplace, and like it just is always on. If you download it, and my guess is it's not the case, you'll just need to pull them out, have your Sim light them, and then just put them back in to that area. Just also be sure you have bb.move objects on, and actually be sure you have that on when you download any of my builds, because I definitely use it, and if you don't have it on, like, you'll lose items. And also also in the middle of this, you can tell that my reshader is now on, because originally I did the first part of it on stream and I couldn't use my reshader. So now I was doing this like on my own, so I could use the reshader. So just so you know, you're not crazy. It did, the colors changed a little bit because I love my reshader so much. And at this point, I also, like I mentioned in my last video, I do have a new graphics card, so things may look a little bit different as well. So this really, like, this build really, like, I was doing this during a lot of changes, which is just kind of funny, but I'm so happy with the way it turned out. So you can see I'm using the new rug from For Rent, which is so beautiful. Like, honestly, that pack really came with a lot of different like colors and swatches, and I don't know, I love all of them so much. And I really like that I kind of had this somewhat eclectic look here in the living room, where, like, you know, all the furniture's from different packs, meaning so it has kind of like a different style, and I think it turned out really nicely. And like I said, I really tried to incorporate a lot of plants in here. And on this side of the fireplace we have our living room, and on the other side we have a desk area and like a bench and everything. And I think it ends up looking really cute. I actually end up using a bench over there that I don't think I have ever used in my life. You will see that I start by putting in like the book nook like shelving, like kind of pretending like it was a bench of some kind, but I end up swapping it out for, I think it's from City Living. And I seriously like have never used it, and I didn't realize that it had like more interesting swatches than the original. The original swatch I think is just like a black and gray, and it just doesn't look right. And again, because it was one of the like more like the earlier items in the game, a lot of times they just didn't look as good, but I ended up using a really fun swatch because you can see I was trying to intersect a bunch of items, and then I was like, what if I just used a bench? Like if I actually use something that's supposed to be a bench. So I swap it out for this here, and it's like so pretty. Like I love it so much. And I ended up using, you can see I kind of pulled out that little cubicle there, which is a little trick. Sometimes I use my like red shelf, and that helps you place things exactly where you want it to. But you could also, if you have like that item is from the, oh my goodness, what, not Decor to the Max, that is not what I'm trying to say, Dream Home Decorator. That is from Dream Home Decorator, and you can kind of place it kind of exactly where you want it to, so it kind of works as a red shelf and is a really good way to place things exactly where you want them. So, and then I just kind of made this like, I kind of wanted it just to be like this cozy, maybe reading office area, because I'm not sure, like again, if your sim is living here, they might need this area, or if they're just visiting, you know, they just might want to use the computer. So I tried to like just really make it a cozy space for your Sims to hang out in. And then I also, like at the end of this hall, I basically just make it a skill building room. I end up putting a chess table in there and an easel and like a chair in there as well. And, you know, feel free to swap those out if your Sim needs other skill building things while they're here. But I thought it'd be so pretty. Like your Sim can like sit there, play chess, and like see out like onto the ocean. Like, oh my gosh, like I know it's The Sims, and like I'm not the one that's actually like in the build, but like I keep thinking about the views that this place has, and it's just like, oh, maybe I need a vacation. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe I need to go to the beach. Maybe that's like what this build is trying to tell me. And I end up actually placing this wall decoration thing in the hallway. I felt like it was really empty, but I didn't, it was such a small hallway. I didn't really necessarily want to put like furniture there, but I end up using, I can't remember if it was Dine Out, maybe your City Living, where this item is actually from. Oh no, it's actually from Eco Lifestyle. And I ended up had that really pretty yellow orange in it, and then I just put some like vines behind it, and I thought that was just like a really nice wall piece to have. And I ended up doing this kind of like a loft, so it being open to the bedroom, because it's a 1-bedroom and it's kind of a vacation home anyways. I just figured that might be really nice. And I do end up having a separate bathtub and shower in here because I was really trying to make this like nice and luxurious, and I tried to keep all of the curtains like open so you could like see out, but I still included curtains in the bathroom because, you know, your Sims don't actually care, but it's nice to have curtains on the windows in your bathroom. Like I feel like in real life you're probably gonna have that. And this is what I was talking about earlier. I ended up intersecting that kind of like granite piece with this sink here. So I totally forgot to play test it, so apologies if it does not work. You can easily just get rid of that or like double up the sink or something like that if you would like to, if it doesn't actually end up working. Like I remember building and I was like, I need to be sure to test this because sometimes it's weird about like stuff intersecting with sinks, and then I forgot, so I'm sorry. But I do end up putting in the shower from the Snowy Escape pack, and I end up using that is the wall piece from the Moschino stuff pack, and I thought it was just really nice, kind of open, and I honestly really love the way this bathroom turned out. And I opted for doing just a singular sink versus two. However, you know, if you'd rather have 2 sinks, you can of course swap that out as well. And then just adding some plants and some more color in here, because I felt like originally there wasn't enough color. So, you know, swapping out that rug there and having that nice pop of color, and I think it ended up looking really nice in here. And then in the bedroom, I think I ended up using oh my goodness. I think I almost used the For Rent bed, but I ended up instead using the bed from Get Together. Because again, I feel like both of those packs have really nice, like rich colors in them. So I felt like it was pretty natural to use one of those beds. And I was going to use the one For Rent because it's just so beautiful, but I ended up, you know, feeling like I didn't want to block the view kind of thing. So I ended up just opting for this bed instead, and then bringing in those the plant tables, because I felt like that would be an easy way to bring in some plants without actually having to put a bunch of plants everywhere. And then I ended up putting a dresser over on the side, and then another little seating area over here by the window. And of course, I do end up using the Jungle Adventure mirror because she's just so beautiful. Like, I love this mirror so much. Like, I had to. And I loved the wood tone on these pieces here. Like, it looked so good. I was so happy with that. And it really blended together. And like I said, in my last video, I feel like I've been using this color swatch a lot, so apologies. Like, but I'm just really like loving it lately. I feel like maybe I need to challenge myself to use a different color palette because I've been using it so much, but you know, you can't help it. If you like it, you're gonna use it. So then I think I do end up putting those books there, just trying to fill in that space since it was a little bit empty. And then I do end up actually out on that little walkout. I end up just putting 2 lounge chairs out there because I figured, you know, your Sims just maybe want to go and hang out there. You know what I mean? Like, you can swap it out for, you know, some other skill building, but I just thought, you know, a nice dedicated spot for them just to go sit and hang out would be really nice. And I end up putting like the drink tray out there and just, you know, really just wanting it to be a relaxing space. Like, I would love to be here. Like, I want to rent this house really badly. Like, I want to go on vacation here. And I ended up using those wicker, like, looking stools from the For Rent pack. I almost used them, like, I used them as, like, tables, basically. And I thought that worked out really well and looked really nice out here. And again, that For Rent rug with those leaves on it just looks beautiful. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.